Dear friends, I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom on a special Shabbat in which we are blessing the month of Tammuz. This is the month that on the third day of Tammuz, next Thursday, is the 29th yahrzeit of our dear Rebbe, the leader of the Jewish people in our generation, who has transformed the Jewish world in a most unique way, and 29 years later, it's still growing stronger and stronger and stronger. There was just a Pew report not long ago, how 20% of Jewish Americans have a connection with Chabad, more than any other group of Jewish houses of worship and community centers. And it's growing dramatically. And this is the story all over the world. It also has in it the 12th day of Tammuz and the 13th day, when the previous Rebbe defiantly stood up to the Soviet Union, the most powerful nation at that time, who were introducing communism on a level that soon took up a big part of the world. And one man stood up to keep Judaism alive. And when they arrested him to have him suffer capital punishment, miraculously he came out alive, ended up leaving Russia, and made his way to America, where he became a new moving force that changed the landscape of American Jewry. And his son-in-law, our Rebbe, continued in 1950 after he passed away. It also has in it the 17th of Tammuz, the day of the beginning of the destruction of the first and second temple, when the walls of Jerusalem were breached. It's a month that has a lot of things going on. Things that have touched to the core of the Jewish people. But most importantly, it's a month in which we have the ability to take the messages of the previous Rebbe and the Rebbe, who lived thousands of years after the destruction of the first temple, close to 2,000 years after the destruction of the second temple in our time, and are getting ourselves ready for the coming of Mashiach and the rebuilding of the third temple. And I want to point out something in this week's Parsha, Shlach. The last part of the Parsha has the mitzvah of tzitzis, of fringes, of wearing a piece of clothing that have four corners and putting fringes on the corners. This mitzvah and this paragraph is actually included in the Shema. When you say Shema daily, in the morning and the evening, this is the third paragraph of the Shema. It actually is in the Torah even before the first two paragraphs, which are in Devarim, Deuteronomy. And the mitzvah of tzitzis is a very powerful mitzvah, because what you see of the tzitzis usually is just the fringes, not the piece of clothing. And really, this resembles what the Jewish people are, how every one of us should be. Who we are, our character, our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, very often is personal. You, close friends, family members may know it. It's something you keep in your home with yourself. But Judaism demands that it's not enough that you can be cloaked in holiness and spirituality for yourself, but it has to produce fringes. It has to have strings sticking out where everyone can see. Little strings. A string represents a minuscule amount of material compared to the clothing itself. But these strings carry a lot of significance and a very strong message that who we are has to affect how we behave and how people perceive us and what we share with people. Our Torah commitment and knowledge has to be expressed with actual doing of mitzvahs. And mitzvahs that make a difference, that could be seen. It's not a mitzvah to hide the mitzvahs we do. Yes, maybe charity anonymously is very much praised, and there are times when it should be done that way. But most mitzvahs we do should be one that we carry with pride and it's hanging out. People can see the time when we do the mitzvah. I once had a fellow who we inspired to put on tefillin, and then he told me that he puts on tefillin in a corner of his house that no one can see. And I asked him, wouldn't it be beautiful if your children saw that you put on tefillin every day? The effect it would have? He didn't realize. The tzitzis have to hang. It's important for us to make sure that those around us, our children, our colleagues, our friends, our neighbors, the general society, they look at us, they can see that there's flowing from us goodness, kindness, listening to Hashem, following in His ways, morals, values, commandments. And when we have them flowing from us, it carries us to a different space. It says when you wear the tzitzis and there used to be a blue string, it reminds us of heaven. You're carrying and you're bringing heaven down to earth. And this is our mission. So I want to wish you all, and as the Rebbe empowered us, to be the carriers of Fringes, tzitzis, wherever we go. Wherever life takes you, even if it's temporary, make sure you leave an impact there by doing good deeds, bringing holiness, doing a mitzvah. May God bless you, and may Hashem protect you all. We love you, and we want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. Candlelighting time in Montreal this week, 8:29 p.m.